Stephen. My name is Mary Ryan and I am Deputy CEO of Westpic. And this is a podcast to do with all things enterprise and enterprise related. So today we're delighted to add to our podcast group one which looks into the whole area of the Health Innovation Hub in Ireland. Welcome and thank you, Stephen, for joining us.
Hi, Mary. Thanks a million for having me.
Okay, great. Let's kick off. I suppose the audience, the first thing they're going to want to know is, what exactly is the Health Innovation Hub Ireland?
Yeah, I suppose it's a good question. Well, I'll tell you first. I'm Steve Griffen, and I'm the manager of the Health Innovation Hub here in Galway. The Health Innovation Hub Ireland. Really, what we're here to do is to facilitate the connection between entrepreneurs or companies that are developing new products or services for healthcare to those people working in healthcare with the experience and expertise to give feedback on that product or service. So if you're a company, if you are a company or developing a new or next generation product for healthcare, and you want to get feedback on the need, like is it worth your while going down this route, or on your prototype, are you going in the right direction, or to run a pilot study testing it in a live environment, we'll work with you to find the right people to make this happen if we can. And I suppose we have good access to the healthcare system. We have 3 offices co-located between hospital groups and academic institutions around the country. One in Galway, and that's the University of Galway, and the Sailta Hospital Group, which comprise 7 hospitals and their associated community healthcare organisations. And in Dublin, it's Trinity College Dublin and the Dublin Midlands Hospital Group, and that's 9 hospitals there, including St James's and Tala. And in Cork, it's UCC and Munster Technology University and the South-Southwest Hospital Group of another 7 hospitals. And while we're connected directly with 23 hospitals, we will work with and do work with all the hospitals around the country. I should say half of our team are HSE employees working with us in the Health Innovation Hub on a part-time basis, and these include doctors, nurses. We had a pharmacist, a physio, and a couple of clinical engineers. Actually, 3 clinical engineers at the moment. And these people, they know the system, the healthcare system, and the staff, and it helps in identifying, say, the right person, or the team, or the location for any project we do. We're government funded through Enterprise Ireland and the HSE, and it's our objective to help companies try and get to market quicker.
Okay, so what I'm hearing from that, and I think it's very important that anybody listening here today realizes that, and the key word I took out of what you just said as the intro, that connecting to the right people and to the right organization. And certainly when we're working with companies, particularly in that medtech field, it's the ability to provide that correct connection that is just so vital. Maybe just building out on that point then, if in relation to that identifying and connecting, could you give us an idea of the type of services, the type of supports that you provide to companies? And again, from a Westpic audience point of view, particularly startup companies.
Yeah, no problem. We have 3 main supports or services that we do for companies. And I'll throw in a few examples, Mary, as I go through them. It might help put them into context. So it kind of shakes down as either companies who are looking to verify a need or a problem, like should they be going after this? Companies that are then trying to maybe validate a prototype. Are they building it correctly? Are they going down the right road? And then those companies who have like a product that's ready for market or might be on the market in some other jurisdiction, and they want to run a pilot here and show what works here as a reference site. Here, I mean in Ireland. So the first type of support is on that need or the problem, and we generally run focus groups or kind of interview sessions with the clinical people best placed to answer questions on the subject. For example, one company that we worked with, they were interested in exploring opportunities in the respiratory space. They wanted to speak to people who work with people who have tracheostomies, about they're developing a kind of novel type of device in this space that would be safer and easier on the patient, etc. So what we ended up doing is we arranged a focus group session with a number of doctors, nurses, clinical nurse specialists, physiotherapists, occupational therapists, basically anybody who would interact with a patient who has a trachea in place. And then the company came in and they presented them, and it was important, like we have to explain to everyone that like it isn't a sales pitch, that the company are only thinking about developing a product in this space, and they want their feedback so that they can do it properly. And based on that session, the feedback that the company got, they decided that they would progress with the project, and subsequently received industry partnership funding from Enterprise Ireland to develop it with one of the universities.
So it's that really valuable practical insights from the people who are on the ground, on the wards, in the operating theatre, who can give first-hand response and feedback, and which is often the case. Let an entrepreneur know if there may not be any potential in the concept that they're developing, but obviously we're looking at companies here who want to test the next stage or the next level of their concept, which brings me on to my next question. And it's really, once you possibly have actually answered it, I guess companies come to you at all stages of their startup process.
Yeah, they do. We'll meet with anyone who wants to get, just as long as they get in touch with us, we'll have a chat with them. We have an online portal on our website, www.hih.ie, and like, you're never too early to assess a need. And the portal there that I mentioned, kind of any submission that comes in, it's reviewed by our entire team monthly. The clinical people and the project managers assess kind of each application, on a number of different criteria. So if it's an early stage company or whatever, have they, it has to be an ask really about supporting development, and not a sales pitch, something that'll help them move it along. And does it make sense in the context of Irish healthcare as well?
So from that point of view, then, are there any predefined criteria or eligibility criteria that a startup company or a promoter needs to meet in order to get the support of the Health Innovation Hub?
There are a few sort of things, but like that, engaging with us and then going down the road of a project are two kind of separate things. Like, they can engage with us and we'll say, well, you need to do A, B, C, and D before we can do a project. But kind of loosely speaking, if you want to jump into a project of one of the three types that we do, have you done your due diligence? Does the product or solution already exist? Have you done that much at least? Do they have some support or funding for the business? Are they in revenue or receiving, say, support from Enterprise Ireland or you guys in Westbic or the local enterprise office? Are they an EI client? And then so that's kind of like on the company side. We want to see that they hold a bit of, they've done their own kind of due diligence, they're going down the right road or whatever. And then on our side, we have to see if we can do it, like what they want. Do the people exist that they want to speak to in the first instance? It's not always the case, and is the ask reasonable on the healthcare side? What are they going to ask of them? Is it, it's not going to take their entire day or weeks out of their lives. Like, for example, one project we worked on recently, they wanted to speak with to as many neurovascular interventional radiologists as possible, and like, that was the first time I ever heard of neurovascular interventional radiologists. It turns out these guys and girls, they're brain surgeons. They're highly specialized in removing clots from the brain. They go in through an artery in the neck and go in and remove clots, and real miracle stuff to witness when it's successful. And we quickly found out there's only 2 hospitals in Ireland that do this, Cork and Beaumont, and there's probably only 5 or 6 of these doctors in the country. It turned out we could do it, and we managed to meet pretty much with all of them. But you kind of have to manage expectations in line with what's feasible for a company. Some companies just want to meet everyone and all that. So it's
that level of connectivity is so valuable. I'm a long time working with startup entrepreneurs, and indeed in Westbic we have a lot of involvement in the medtech sector, and it can be very difficult to get connectivity to the medtech industry, and then the more specialized you go, it becomes even harder. What's the situation where a founder or an entrepreneur is looking to get access to networks or to connect with somebody who may not be in Ireland, but do you have contacts internationally that you can tap into?
In Northern Ireland, we have good contacts in Northern Ireland, beyond that, it's kind of hit or miss, really.
Okay, that's fair enough. The one of the areas that is of particular interest to me, and indeed a lot of the entrepreneurs that we're working with, and there's an increasing number of them working in the femtech industry, and I know that it's estimated to reach over 60 billion by 2027. Would you give us an outline as to what the Irish femtech development ecosystems launched by the HIHI, what does that do? What is its speciality? What can the audience take from what exactly this is?
Yeah, would it be okay if I kind of try and define femtech first?
Yes, please
and then,
do.
Yeah,
Please
so
do.
for what Health Innovation Hub Ireland are doing, femtech kind of refers to like technology designed for women's health and wellness, and the development of disruptive women's health solutions, and this is something that Health Innovation Hub feel passionately about. And I suppose femtech focuses on women's health from birth to death, and includes kind of everything in between: adolescence health, fertility, menstruation, menopause, and so on. And like you said there, there's a huge amount of investment going in it now, and it's growing. But historically, development and investment in female-focused healthcare and health tech has been very low, with really a low amount of investment in research. Something like less than 2% went into women's health research, and women are underrepresented in clinical trials. And there's been a huge lack of female founders in companies in the space. Now, I suppose Health Innovation Hub's Femtech initiative, or Femtech at Health Innovation Hub Ireland, as we're calling it, it's here to stimulate and support the development of high potential new products, services, and startups in this area, and solutions that will hopefully impact the health and well-being, I suppose, of half our population. And it's looking to kind of create a geographical femtech focus. It's going to be based down in Cork, and build on an ecosystem of experts and entrepreneurs, supporting, driving, and innovating in femtech. And it will advocate for more female founders, and hopefully attract investors to Ireland. And I suppose the last point on it, really, it's critical to the development of women's health solutions. What will be critical to it will be access to clinical research and business expertise, and Femtech at Health Innovation Hub Ireland will deliver on the clinical expertise through the Ireland South Women and Infants Directors. And this is a network of 4 maternity hospitals down in the south. It's Cork, Kerry, Tipperary, and Waterford. And this will provide access to discipline-specific clinical teams. And then Femtech entrepreneurs will have access to critical research expertise through UCC Innovation Office there, and business and expertise supports will be provided through the Femtech advisors. And we're pretty excited. The official launch of Femtech at Health Innovation Hub Ireland will be in Cork next week on November 23rd.
Well, I think it's hugely exciting. And while we've worked in the medtech sector for a long time, we can see the emergence of the femtech segment within medtech as, growing hugely, and not before its time, let's all say. And, delighted that the femtech that the HIH have taken on, to me, has so many different aspects to it. Obviously, to provide that connectivity and that support to companies setting up to provide new innovations in the femtech sector, but also to promote and to stimulate a greater number of female entrepreneurs in this area, and obviously investors as well. So absolutely delighted to see that this is coming on stream, and I know it's something that our client companies will avail of. Let's wrap it up. You started off by saying that the 3 hubs in Ireland are all connected locally, but that they service the entire country. And I know that you're closely aligned with the University of Galway. We work very closely with both student entrepreneurs and spin-out companies in the University of Galway. Would you be able to give an idea as to the supports that the Health Innovation Hub in your region provides for both the student entrepreneurs and the spin-outs?
Yeah, well, I guess it's like you said, we do work very closely with. Well, we're based in the University of Galway, and I suppose from the kind of the spin-out side, or the entrepreneurs, we see a lot of the fellows and graduates from, say, the BioInnovate program in the University of Galway, and those those people are really focused on developing new technologies to address unmet needs in healthcare. So they're trying to develop medical devices, and as you know, they often get funding to do that from Enterprise Ireland or from Science Foundation Ireland. And we work with those companies, or have worked with a number of them to kind of go through the stuff I've kind of outlined earlier. If they have prototypes and they want to do some sort of field testing, or they want to just get feedback from the experts. So we've worked with, say, the likes of Synthesis, Field Tech, Osteoform, Relivium, Nua Surgical, and a few others. I guess the other, I'd be remiss not to say, is we work closely with the technology transfer offices in Galway for sure, but with the other ones around the country, and any of, say, the clinical entrepreneurs that are coming in, say, from the hospital side, and as well also, let's say, any of the student entrepreneurs or postgraduates, which we'd connect them with the TTO and the technology transfer offices, provide really good supports, around patents and kind of freedom to operate and protecting your IP and kind of putting that structure around how you would develop something and where you'd get funding from, and also connecting them in with technical experts. And that kind of goes both ways, really. You might have technical people who are looking to connect with clinical people, and they can start something that'd be more common. But then the other side of it too is where you'd have clinical people who need a technical kind of pair of hands on board. You know yourself as the team sort of thing. Yeah,
the team and the connecting. And if anyone that's listening to this podcast, I'd hope they'd realise that the importance of that connectivity, because in Westpic, we can provide the business, the commercial, the marketing, the focus that you need to get investors on board. But it's only as relevant as the market validation that goes on in the background and the technical validation. And it's that access to those contacts that can often provide a stumbling block and can often, take so much of their time. And being able to link in with the likes of the BioInnovate program and other supports, the Technology Transfer Office, obviously ourselves, and bring the entire offering together. I mean, after all, I mentioned there the student entrepreneurs and the spin-outs from the university. These are the cutting edge next round of companies that are going to fill the pipeline of startups in the future and indeed medtech developments in the future. So, Stephen, thank you very much. We certainly have found, working with the Health Innovation Hub, working with yourself, referring companies in for that practical and connectivity and that knowledge, that deep, embedded knowledge that you have in this sector is hugely important. And I'd encourage anyone listening in today to look up the website and make contact with you, Stephen, if that's okay.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Hey, so thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Look forward to continuing to work with you and all the new developments that'll happen between both Westpic and the Health Innovation Hub. So thank you very much, Steve. Really appreciate your time today.
Thanks, Mary. Take care.
Thank you all so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to be notified about future podcasts. Please feel free to get in touch with us on social media and let us know if you found this episode beneficial. You can find us at Westpic on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. If you would like to hear more about our available supports, please get in touch via our website, www.westpic.ie. And of course, stay tuned for our next podcast episode.